size portrait, so I'd really love to get off this screen just as fast as possible because it is absolutely digging at my skin right now. This champion is just slightly taller than all of the rest of them, and I have absolutely no reason to suspect why. Okay, it looks like we are actually going to be loading into the sweat. We're not going to have to vamp for any more time. So we're going to send it over to our wonderful casting duo of Milky and Yoe to kick off the day.
Thank you very much, Rebel. We are heading onto the Rift for Game 1. And as Rebel very keenly pointed out, that portrait was a little bit too big your way. And I'm just wondering if that's maybe a hint of what's to come. Maybe a big Samira, big shutdown we're going to be seeing for Slader later on in this game.
We can only hope. Genius Esports, at this point, they're not really playing for much. They could potentially try to catch Cerberus, but I believe they, even if they catch them in serious score, they would still be placed beneath them, so they're not really playing for that much right now. They just want to build synergy, want to experiment with some compositions here and there, and just try to get as strong as possible to survive that all-important relegation tournament. So why not put the big Samira in here, and maybe Slader can carry you like in the good old times.
I think it was quite interesting as well how we saw picks and bans unfolding, because we saw 6 ADC bans at the start, which to me kind of seems like it's both Saigon, Buffalo and Genius saying, look, both of our ADCs are very good, let's see who can dig deeper into their champion pool and find a better ADC to pick. And Saigon Buffalo said, look, we're on blue side, we get first pick of our ADC, we take the Aphelios. Genius, what do you have left? And Slater, you know, there are a few ADCs left. I think the analyst that's talked about Kai'Sa, you even had the possibility of maybe the Twitch.
Yep.
But Slater said, give me the Samira, we're going to stomp this lane with Samira Nautilus.
And Samira, surprisingly, hasn't actually made that big of a splash into the VCS so far. In all the iterations of VCS, we've seen the odd Samira performance. I remember some good Artemis games. I think Slader played it a few times here and there, but it's never really been one of our stable picks, one of our, like, Docdum over in the LCK really likes to play Samira, is a really good Samira player, but we don't really have that big Samira specialist over here, so it's really only on the fringes. It's fun to see her every now and then. I personally really like to play Samira, she's a lot of fun. But she can fall short, especially against point-and-click CC, so how to navigate Samira and teamfights into Gragas, and especially Pantheon, is gonna be a struggle, but maybe Slater can give us the answer to this puzzle.
Shogun is taking so much damage,
Taki!
And Taki body blocks the flag and drag. This is why Taki is one of the best supports in the league, and now Shogun and Taki forcing Yijin out of the lane.
Beautiful, Taki just playing bodyguard. That's another one with a good amount of CC on Slader later in the game, so we also need to keep our eyes on Taki. He can play every temp, we know it. He just gave us the support Rumble earlier this week. Now it's support Gragas. Honestly, if we look at Taki's champion pool, support Gragas seems like a tame choice. And here he goes again!
This time it's BJ saying howdy into the bottom lane, but Slade and BOB will be safe. Not even forced to burn any summoners. Now they're pushing really far forward. BJ is still there. Taki stepping forward, looking for BOB, flashing away, the Ignite ticking down, but the Dredge line will not take the Nautilus out to safety. Yijin making his way over, but this is a 2v3, and Slater decides against going in.
Good patience from BJ. To be fair, Biob made it pretty easy for him to just stand there for 2 seconds in the bush. But very nice engage from Taki on him again, and that's an early kill against Samira's lane. To be fair, it went over to BJ, so it's not really gonna profit Shogun all that much. It alleviates a lot of pressure and gives him an assist, which is always nice to have. Gives him a free reset, but in the end, the kill over to BJ means more damage in the early skirmishes for this super strong Pantheon jungle. And I mean, look at this crit. 173 at level 3. That sounds fair to me.
Well, not the best of starts for BOB. He did the equivalent of cutting himself up, putting himself on a plate, and then seasoning himself with some salt and pepper before handing BJ the cutlery and said, please dig in.
A little bit puzzling, his decision to just instantly turn around and walk back in there when he knew BJ was definitely still there. He literally just showed on the screen. Showing on the screen of Coated is BJ once again in top lane, but this time warded nicely. Coated has been one of the players that we've talked about a lot over the course of, honestly, the last few years. Very streaky player, has some very good carry performances, was super famous for his Jax, but also his Fiora, actually. Not super successful so far in this split, 1 and 2 on the Fiora so far, but it's one of those champions that if you can get coated elite, maybe it's enough to push you away from your 9-game losing streak, because you desperately need someone to play through. Just anyone stepping up for GE would be great, because they just need to get out of this misery of the 9-game losing streak. So I think the coated Fiora is actually a good option here. Sorry.
And when you look towards Genius as well, you can see, or we have seen, at some point in the past, every single player having a good split. Target's getting caught out, good dredge line. Yijin having snuck his way into the lane, and it is Slader who is able to pick up the first kill for Genius.
Very clean combo from GE. Biob definitely paying back his ADC for inting him earlier, and now getting him a free kill. So that's a very good start for Slader on the side of the Samira. He's the other hyper carry in this composition. It's either Samira or Fiora that have to do the heavy lifting later on, and Slader, definitely one we have seen succeed on the highest of levels in VCS, of course, 2-time champion in 2020. So, yeah, why not try to put all the eggs into the Slader basket? I expect even more ganks down here once Blazes hits level 6, which just happened. So, this is going to be a little bit of a test for Saigon Buffalo's bot lane. Can they just resist this bot lane pressure that's going to be oncoming from the side of Genius Esports in the next few minutes?
Blazes and Yijin looking towards this mid lane. The analyst has talked about the power of the 2v2 and spoke about how strong the Vex Pantheon duo is. And we'll wait and see whether they can eventually start to get some rotations going. Of course, BJ able to get across the map very quickly with the Grand Starfall. And Froggy has a lot of range available with the Shadow Surge, so can join into a play on either the bottom side or top side with relative ease.
And to me, this Vex and draft just looked like they still wanted to go for Taliyah, but Taliyah was picked already, so they just went, okay, what's the next best Taliyah's substitute? Well, I guess Vex. Froggy's a really good Vex, so here we go.
The mid-jungle 2v2 coming into action. Blaze is forced to burn the flash, forced to burn the cleanse. Taki here as well. Genius are making their way up at 2. Froggy is relatively low, but it looks like Yijin is just going to be providing some bodyguard services for his mid laner.
And attacking the Taliyah is a classic strategy before she gets to roam, because now every single roam is going to be that much more dangerous for the side of Blazes, because if you ever overstep into the tower or Taki outplays you with some insane combo, or even just the red-white combo, kills you more quickly than you anticipated. Oh, speaking of dying more quickly than you anticipated, nope. Not quite happening in bot lane right now. BJ seems to be a little bit slow on his ganks, I'd say, or not quite as active as I would have thought he would be on this Pantheon. The one time he played the Pantheon before, this week or last week, I think this week, where, yeah, he ended the game just carrying the whole early game after failing the initial dive. So there's still time for him to make his presence known, but maybe not quite as active as I would have liked to see.
Speaking of his previous Pantheon's performance, we can play a bit of a mini-game as coach and actually burning the ultimate, but Husband says, I will challenge you nonetheless. Grand challenge, I have the superior challenge, and the top laners continue to duke it out, but somehow both top laners end up having more health than they did when they started the fight.
Drain tanks! Woo!
You know, I usually thought Fiora, Aatrox, these are aggressive top laners, this is going to be spicy, and then they both just heal up by a stupid amount from the fight, and it only goes badly for Kotan at the very end when Harsmid lands a couple of the Darken Blades.
Oh, that's Taki, no ultimate though. Yeah, I think that's the first time ever I've seen someone fight Fiora in her Grand Challenge and just ignore the Grand Challenge healing completely. Harsmid just bathed in that. He was like, okay, you get to heal, but I want to heal too, so let's just exchange some hits here, nothing's gonna happen. Both ultimates down. Looking at the cooldowns, it seems like they're relatively synced. There might be a little bit of a 10-15 seconds window for Coated to attack Harsmid before Harsmid's ultimate is available. So keep your eyes.
Oh, look at Yijin.
Yeah, that's another bot side attention. Oh, Yijin also brings the Biob is level 6 as well. Taki needs to be super careful. Yijin also has the
This is so patient.
Look at
Did they spot Yijin there?
I don't think so, but I think Yijin is too scared of the white gun, because he's only sitting on barely 1000 HP. If you overextend into the tower there, yeah, look at it. He's very squishy at this point, so actually not going for this aggressive gank, and now losing a lot of time. So let's see if Pantheon can make anything happen. He can flash on top of Blazes, and that's probably Blazes' death. If he flashes into Froggy ultimate, Froggy W, I think Blazes probably dies. So BJ really just wanting to get any kind of angle on Blazes here in the mid lane.
Blazes is going to have that cleanse of cooldown shortly, so he can start to play a little bit more aggressively, a little bit more greedily. But Taki is following BJ. You know what they say, jungle diff is support diff. Yujin is going to get spotted out by BJ, but BJ not quite close enough to be able to jump on top of Yujin with the shield assault.
A lot of posturing, a lot of movement through the jungle, as we've quietly just passed the 10 minute mark, apologies. And so far this week, our games have been kind of calm, especially in the early game. And SGB, the last time they played the early game, they actually basically just entered away multiple early games and then came back with amazing plays in the mid game. So not losing. Oh, Blazes, very good cleanse. Might still die though.
Has been used, but in comes the Shadow Surge from Froggy, and there is no flash available. Taki though looks for Yijin, will be able to flash after the second iteration of the ult, but here comes the Grand Starfall. BOB are locked down. Moonlight Vigil will land into Graviton, but there's a Cataclysm. BJ taking so much damage. Slater now jumping in, cleanses, flashes forward, finds a kill onto BJ, but will die for the kill, and it is 2 kills for 1 for SGB.
And finally we get some action on the bottom side of the rift. BJ really wanted to make this happen early, but he finally gets on top of Blazes. Very good cleanse, but it's not enough to get away from the Vex. What does this mean for the grand scheme of things? I think Shogun really likes this, because he can push in another tower, probably gets a plate here, but take your eyes, or just don't take your eyes of the side of Samira when she comes in, because she actually plays this fight in a way that we have to keep in mind for the rest of the game, because Slater doesn't go into ultimate before he knows the CC is gone. You can see Slater here, he's stacking up, he cleanses away, then flashes to finish the kill, and wanted to, okay, he didn't actually have an opportunity to go into ult, but that's how he has to conduct himself later on in the fights as well, where he just has to wait for the CC to land, basically bait the CC that's meant to interrupt his ultimate, cleanse, and go into ultimate after. So, yeah, it's the basic Katarina formula, and of course, Samira, very similar in that aspect. Still doubtful if that's gonna work, because there's so much CC, so much instant CC, but at least Slater knows what he's doing.
Now, I'm gonna say something your way that is a little bit divisive, let's say, because over the past few weeks, there have been a lot of talks, and I am willing to go into this because there is a definite answer right now. And that's to talk about Froggy, because a lot of people have been very down on Froggy and not thought that he's been a fantastic mid laner. Right now, he's playing really well. I'll hold that for a thought. Hearthmade could look to go in on Coated the Grand Challenge, and Coated is way too scared to proc more of the vitals. But right now, Froggy, not only is he up in kills on Blazes, he's up in CS on Blazes as well. We've seen him roaming around far more than Blazes. This has been a very good performance so far from Froggy, and I think this whole split for Froggy, he's been putting more and more of the doubters down.
Here we have a huge fight as BJ gets engaged on, but Shogun, can he retaliate? Oh, Biob, wow, flashing over the wall here.
Flashes, lands the dredge line in, it comes to Weaver's Wall, the focus is on
Froggy!
Shogun able to find the kill on Slater, now the ADC for Genius is dead, Blazes just does not have the damage output, and Saigon Buffalo are completely turning this around. Void Surge lands, in goes Froggy onto BOB, gets the fear onto Blazes. Blazes will fall as well, and BOB is the only member left standing. There won't be another Shadow Surge because I think it landed onto BOB,
True.
So he didn't get the reset on it.
And there we see Froggy in action. So, throughout his whole career, Froggy, when he started in 2021, let's look at this fight in particular and then talk about Froggy at the end of it. BJ gets engaged on, they actually managed to isolate this Pantheon. It's such a hard thing to do, to kill the Pantheon early on, but they actually get him out of the equation, but Shogun is in such a good spot to just get a lot of damage down. Yeah, I think there was a Gale Force forward from Shogun, very aggressively played, but they just don't have a little bit too much damage, and with the enemy ADC going down, there's just not enough to retaliate from the side of GE. Hasmid also coming in clutch, saving his mid laner. But now let's go back to the Froggy point, because he has always been this kind of player where when he came in, everyone looked at his laning phase the first 15 minutes and everyone flamed him for his laning phase, and justifiably so. He was down 15 to 20 CS every single game, and then he made amazing engages and amazing teamfights plays, and it was always, oh, Taki, what have you just done?
Taki was doing Taki things. For those people who are new to the VCS, Taki's like Hylissang, but with less int. But that time, I guess he went for the play onto Coated a bit before Hasmid and Froggy were ready to follow up.
I guess he got his flash, so now Hasmid can go for the solo kill. Yeah, just trading life with flash. That's a very standard Hylissang thing to do. It's very fun to watch. But to finish the Froggy point, he improved his laning tremendously. Now, he's still behind 4 CS on average at 15 minutes. Compared to someone like Glory, who's a really good laner, or Artifact, he's still not on their level. But he plays every champion in the game. He's the only mid laner that constantly gets Seraphine banned against him, because you can't beat SGB. Oh no. And he is as well.
Slater. Man, I think Slater got a heart attack when all of a sudden a Void Surge came out from the Brush Blazes going onto Shogun, but can't land the Seismic Shove. Cleanses use. Out comes the Moonlight Vision, while the rest of Genie is just focusing on Darky Cataclysm used as well. Not the Cataclysm. That would be a weird way to pronounce the Jarvan ultimate. But do Genius want more, or are they just looking to walk away? This would be a 3v4. Shogun is relatively low, but the chains have landed onto BOB. He's forced to go
Yijin, what?
In goes Yijin, but do they have the damage? BJ has been taken low. Yijin flashing over the wall. Somehow Genius are almost surviving. BJ with a sliver of health will be able to make his way out alive, but now Blazes is in the fire and is in the firing line of Shogun as Froggy picks up the kill.
And it's a fist fight, and that's where SGB thrives. They really like to just hand-stiff their opponents. And there we go. BJ, you had no HP.
Slater just goes in. He takes so much damage from Froggy, and for a second, I thought Slater was going to make one of those Samira outplays.
He tried. He was getting close. Slater is actually, he's looking at these montage plays, and he's getting closer and closer, but it's just so hard to do against the instant fear from Froggy. That's what I'm actually seeing in every single fight. Froggy just sitting on top of Samira and just pressing W, and Samira's done. But I didn't really understand what Yijin was thinking here. He tried. I guess he tried to buy time for Kota to carry his the fight, but really, really nice coordination for SGB. You can just see their in-fight communication, or even just in-fight synergy, because I don't actually think they communicate much. That's all just instincts, and their instincts are fine-tuned.
Well, we've got a play on the picture-in-picture. Hasmid getting caught out by Yijin and Coated, but in comes Froggy with the Void Surge. BOB making his way over. The dredge line will land, but Hasmid will not fall, and in the end, the Grand Challenge just used way too late, and BOB, he's just going to stand there. He knows that he's dead. He knows that there is no way out, and Froggy will pick up a triple kill.
And what a good way to come back to the Froggy point you introduced. Froggy, once he's out of lane, I think he's the best playmaker from the mid lane position. And in Splits prior, I was always on the fence about all the Froggy hate, because in my opinion, Froggy has always been an amazing player. Not so much a good mid laner, and not so much good in the laning phase. So a lot of people criticized him for the getting solo killed, getting behind in CS, but once he got out of the laning phase and actually into the teamfight phase, his engaged sense, his synergy with all the other players, please let me speak.
Onto Shogun. There is no way out for the ADC, but it doesn't matter. Shogun just survives in the end. Blazes will be able to get the kill. But Hasmid has teleported his way, and Slater really wants one kill, and he'll find one onto Taki, but does he have the damage for Hasmid? BOB flashing forward. Dredgeline's only going to be able to connect with the wall. Froggy able to get the kill onto Blazes, but now BJ is here as well. Dredgeline narrowly misses out on the Aatrox as BJ trying to zone Coated away. Froggy has returned. The Grand Challenge has been so much damage onto BJ, but Froggy dives in onto Slater. Gone to Coated. It's going to fall. And look at that big ass shield on Froggy. He's still alive, but eventually Slater will get one. Jumps back in, but will fall. Dredgeline from BOB slowing onto Hasmid, but Hasmid and BJ are just going to chase down this Nautilus. They land a knock-up, and that time the Dredgeline is right in front of BOB's face, and it means that Saigon Buffalo will pick up the last kill of the fight.
Can you not love this league? These two teams are going all out and full-on crazy. What? Yijin is just going on a mission this game. Who needs jungle camps when you can just kill the opponents? I mean, he sacrifices himself for the better of his team, I guess. And Slater actually playing this really nicely. Once again, waiting out the CC and then using his ultimate and E to get on the other side of that annoying big thing from the top lane. The Aatrox can't really do much. And look at Slater. He's one stack away from his ultimate again, but now the stacks fall off. So that's actually one of the crucial moments in the fight, because now Slater can't really get to the same insane damage output that Samira can sometimes bring. So good crit, 1000 gold shutdown. There's a silver lining on the horizon, but in the end it's still a one team fight for SGB, as there's just too much consistent damage from all these positions. You can have Hasmid survive, you can have Shogun survive, or even PNJ can bring a decent amount of damage. So right now it's pretty hard to get through all of SGB.
We're fighting again. Where's the chance for the narrative point? Slater completely caught out. Great pick by Taki, and then
hit
for more. The Void Surge lands onto Yijin. In goes Froggy. Does he have the damage? He's got the fear. There's the barrel as well. No blast cone for the genius jungler, and he is 2 quick kills for Saigon Buffalo.
Oh my god, this is one of my favorite compositions of all time to watch. I want to see Gragas Vex every game. The combination of these disgusting CCs together is so cool to watch. Taki and Froggy in tandem, and that's another point we made earlier. Look at Froggy, he's 40 CS down, but he's also 9-1 and 9. He has synergy with literally every player of his team. This is an amazing performance from this mid laner, and they are finally going to take an objective here. Yeah, that's actually what League is about, but SGB would not have you think that objectives are actually the goal of the game.
In fairness to Saigon Buffalo, they haven't been allowed to take objectives because Genius have been fighting them every time they spawn from the base after dying from a previous skirmish. And I think the only thing that could make this game like better compositionally for Saigon Buffalo is if they had that Kalista for Shogun.
And to be fair, I actually really like to see Genius Esports try everything. Try to go for every fight, try to just flip it here, flip it there. Maybe the enemy team oversteps, maybe you get a huge outplay. Because, I mean, they're on a 9-game losing streak. They have nothing to play for in terms of standing. They just want to end above AS Esports, but even that doesn't matter too much because you get a two-way qualification back into the league. So at this point, it's all about just finding synergy, finding confidence, finding your carries, and maybe it's coded.
Maybe it's finding Hasmed, but never mind. Taki is here to keep his top laner alive. Explosive cask used. And in goes BJ under tower. The focus onto Kosa, but that is a really nice riposte from the Genius top laner. It doesn't matter. The wallets from Saigon Buffalo are just way too big.
He wants it.
Land.
He wants it.
Go in, baby. Go in. You know you want to under the inhibitor. Froggy. You're just too damn good this game.
His KDA is too juicy. He doesn't want to die again. It's fair. It's fair enough. But how is Froggy always there? That's another aspect. I'm going to stop my Froggy praise for now, but that's the last thing I want to talk about. He's always there when the plays happen. His kill participation is really high for a mid laner, and you see why. He's just always there with his team. He loves to group up with BJ, with Taki, with Hasmid as well this game, multiple times. And, I mean, if it works like this, you can understand why.
Do Genius want to find another fight? They see Froggy, they see Taki. Oh, that was nice from Froggy. Just blasting Yijin away. One other thing I do want to talk about is I want to touch on Coach, because every time I cast on Genius or I'm on the analyst desk and Genius are playing, I always bring this up, which is the fact that if we wind back to Spring, Coach was this incredibly aggressive player who played Graves, Renekton, and Jace practically every single game. And then this split, we started to see a more measured Coated. We started to see very different champions being played, the likes of the Gangplank, the likes of the Gnar, these kind of weak side top laners. But every now and then we do see Coated going towards some of the more aggressive top laners, like this Fiora. But this time Harsman is saying, look, you want to play an aggressive top laner, I'm going to play an aggressive top laner, and I'm the better top laner than you.
And Coated has always been the specialist for counterpicks, even more so than some of our other top laners, but no time for narratives as we have another fight.
I really want to praise Genius for going for these plays. They're not going to take this loss lying down, but it doesn't matter. Even if they stand up, Saigon Buffalo will just jump on them and sit them back down. Body slam onto Blazes, forced to flash away. BOB on the run, but is being chased down by Harsmed, and actually will somehow survive momentarily, but that Aatrox on the minimap is still chasing a poor Nautilus. Surely there's no way out for POV. He's got no summoners. He's trying to pay Harsmed all around, but Harsmed just has too much mobility. Weaver's Wall coming through. Blazes and Genius think that they have found a numbers advantage, but Harsmed is already back in the mid lane, and it is a double kill for Froggy, and Slater can't do anything right now. Another Grand Star fall forward, and Genius are just getting wiped off the map.
27 to 10 kills in 25 minutes, by the way, Knulky. This is a special kind of game. As Saigon Buffalo decided today they wanted blood, and blood is what they got. They also have to pay a few times, but what a first game of the day. Saigon Buffalo definitely having a lot of fun on the Rift. Froggy ended with, I don't know, 10 kills or something, and everyone just performing out of their mind for this first